What if the next truck to completely shake up this segment is not coming from the brand everyone expects, but from Honda? Because the 2026-27 Honda Legend pickup truck doesn't just look like a new model, it looks like a warning shot. Sharper, smarter, more premium, and far more futuristic than anyone saw coming. This machine feels like Honda looked at the modern pickup market and decided it was time to rewrite the rules. You're watching the Car Analyst, where we go beyond the obvious and break down what a vehicle really means, not just what it claims on paper. And this Legend pickup is exactly the kind of truck that deserves a deeper look. Because once you move past the aggressive first impression, you start noticing the details that make this feel less like a simple redesign and more like a complete shift in identity. There's a lot hiding in this truck, from the way it carries itself on the road to the kind of technology it seems ready to bring into everyday life. And some of those details completely change how you think about what a Honda pickup can be. The first thing that hits you is the stance. This truck doesn't arrive quietly. It shows up with a kind of road presence that instantly changes the atmosphere around it. The front end is upright, wide, and unapologetically bold, with that oversized grille treatment and strong Honda branding creating a face that feels more like a statement than a design exercise. The lighting signature is especially important here, because this is where the truck starts to separate itself from older school utility vehicles. Instead of just looking rugged, it looks intelligent. The LEDs are sculpted to feel precise and technical, giving the truck a futuristic expression even when it's standing still. And that matters, because the old formula for pickups was simple: go big, go tough, go muscular. But this Legend adds another layer. It looks engineered for a future where durability and digital sophistication have to exist in the same body. Then your eyes start moving across the body, and that's where the design story gets even more interesting. The proportions feel carefully controlled. It has the toughness you'd expect from a truck with serious attitude, but there's also a premium quality to the surfacing. The fenders look powerful without feeling cartoonish. The hood has a sculpted, performance-inspired look that hints at capability rather than just shouting about it. The wheel arches, side profile, and planted stance give it that lifted, adventure-ready energy, but the lines remain clean enough to feel upscale. That balance is hard to pull off. A lot of pickups either lean too far into workhorse simplicity or become so exaggerated that they start looking like props. This one feels intentional. It has that rare quality where it could sit outside a luxury home, pull into a city valet lane, or head off toward a rough trail and still look perfectly in place. And then there's the aerodynamics, which is something older trucks often treated like an afterthought. Here, the shape seems tighter, more deliberate, more efficient. You can sense that Honda wants this truck to cut through the air with less resistance, reduce wind noise, improve range if electrification comes into play, and create a smoother long-distance experience. That's one of the key signs this isn't just about style. It's about preparing a pickup for the next era, where efficiency and presence are no longer separate conversations. But the real surprise begins the moment you move inside, because the cabin changes the entire emotional tone of the vehicle. This doesn't feel like a utility-first interior with a few screens added afterward. It feels designed from the ground up to make the driver and passengers feel like they've stepped into something far more advanced than a traditional pickup. The dashboard layout is wide, clean, and layered with a premium sense of order. The screen setup immediately draws attention because it gives the cabin a modern command center vibe without becoming visually messy. You have a digital instrument display that feels sharp and customizable, a central infotainment screen that looks fast and intuitive, and a layout that appears designed to keep the important controls close without overwhelming the cabin with clutter. The materials matter just as much as the tech, and from the look and feel of this concept, Honda seems to understand that modern luxury is no longer about adding random chrome and calling it premium. It's about contrast, texture, and atmosphere. Soft-touch surfaces, stitched upholstery, metallic accents, darker finishes, and ambient lighting all come together to create a cabin that feels expensive in a calm, confident way. The red ambient glow running across the dash and doors doesn't just make it look dramatic, it changes the entire mood of the interior. Suddenly, this pickup feels less like a machine you use and more like a space you experience. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Trucks used to be about compromise. You wanted toughness, you gave up refinement. You wanted comfort, you gave up utility. But this Legend feels like it's chasing both at once. The front seats look deeply supportive and long-distance friendly. The center console appears substantial enough to give the driver that cockpit-like sense of control, and the rear space seems positioned to handle family use, road trip duty, or business travel without making anyone feel like an afterthought. That's a huge shift in mindset. This is not a truck designed only for hauling gear. It's being imagined as a full lifestyle vehicle. Of course, no next-generation vehicle can make a serious impression now without a convincing technology story, and this is where the Legend pickup could become genuinely interesting. The digital ecosystem feels like it would be central to the ownership experience. You can easily imagine a next-level infotainment system with seamless smartphone integration, cloud-based personalization, voice control that actually understands natural speech, and over-the-air updates that keep the truck evolving over time. And that last part is critical, because future-ready vehicles are no longer defined only by what they have on day one. They're defined by how well they adapt after you drive them home. AI integration also feels like a natural fit here, not as a gimmick, but as an invisible layer of intelligence. Imagine a system that learns your routes, adjusts climate preferences before you ask, suggests charging or refueling stops depending on powertrain, monitors trailer behavior, and even adapts the drive experience based on traffic, terrain, or weather. That is the kind of technology modern buyers are beginning to expect. Not flashy for the sake of being flashy, but smart in ways that reduce stress and make daily use feel smoother. That's the difference between a vehicle that simply has screens and a vehicle that feels genuinely modern. And yes, performance is where curiosity really starts building, because Honda has several possible directions it could take with something like this. A truck wearing this design language cannot afford to feel lazy or outdated underneath. It needs a powertrain story that matches the look. That could mean a strong turbocharged setup, a sophisticated hybrid system with instant low-end torque, or even a future electric variant that turns this truck into something completely different from the pickups of the past. And honestly, electrification may be one of the most important possibilities here, because a pickup shaped like this, with this kind of presence and this kind of cabin, seems perfectly positioned for a high-tech hybrid or EV identity. What matters most is not just speed or numbers, it's how the truck would feel. The ideal Legend pickup would deliver smooth, confident acceleration, quiet cruising, precise steering for its size, and a suspension setup that knows how to absorb rough surfaces without making the truck feel disconnected. You want it to feel strong when loaded, stable on the highway, composed in the city, and surprisingly refined when you're just commuting through everyday life. That's the future of premium pickups. Not brute force alone, but capability blended with calmness. Safety is another area where this truck has the chance to feel reassuring in a very modern way. Instead of making driver assistance feel intrusive, the best systems today work like a calm co-pilot. If Honda pushes this pickup forward with a next-generation safety suite, you're likely looking at adaptive cruise control that feels smoother and more human, lane-centering tech that reduces fatigue without fighting the driver, blind spot monitoring that's actually useful in real traffic, surround view cameras that make large vehicle maneuvering less stressful, and perhaps even semi-autonomous features that make longer highway drives feel less demanding. That's the kind of safety buyers appreciate most. Not the kind that constantly reminds you it exists, but the kind that quietly makes the experience feel more secure. And practicality? This is where the truck has to prove it's more than just a design fantasy. The good news is, everything about this concept suggests it could be incredibly usable. A strong bed design, smart storage solutions, cabin versatility, comfortable seating, and a commanding driving position all point toward a vehicle that could fit into real life more easily than some oversized, hyper-specialized trucks. This feels like something that could carry tools during the week, luggage on the weekend, and still show enough polish to serve as a daily family vehicle. That balance is powerful, because the people shopping for future pickups aren't all looking for the same thing anymore. Some want adventure, some want image, some want luxury, some want practicality. The smartest trucks are the ones that can speak to all of them without feeling confused, and the Legend seems to understand that. Emotionally, this truck stands apart because it doesn't chase the old pickup identity. It doesn't feel trapped in the past. It feels designed for buyers who still want toughness, but no longer want toughness to come with outdated design, clumsy tech, or a cabin that feels years behind the times. It's for the person who wants a truck that can still be useful. Still be commanding, still feel substantial, but also reflect the world they live in now. Cleaner, smarter, more connected, more premium, more future-focused, and that may be the biggest reason the 2026-27 Honda Legend pickup truck is so fascinating. Even as a next-generation concept, it captures something a lot of vehicles miss. It understands that the future of pickups is not just about being bigger, louder, or more extreme. It's about being more complete, more intelligent, more emotionally appealing, more aligned with how people actually live. If Honda truly moves in this direction, this won't feel like just another pickup entering the conversation. It will feel like the moment the conversation changed. A truck that blends confidence, luxury, technology, and everyday usability in a way that makes older pickups suddenly feel like they belong to a different era. And honestly, that's what makes this Legend so compelling. It doesn't just look new. It looks like a glimpse of what the next generation of trucks could become. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know where you stand on it, because opinions on a truck like this are never boring. And if this is your kind of future, stay with the Car Analyst for more deep dives that make every new reveal a little more worth watching.